Hey, this is Alice.
And I'm Jack.
And in today's video, we're going to give you a tour of the Westin Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa. This is a hotel that we stayed at recently. It was in July 2020. This hotel is located near a couple of golf courses on Hilton Head. Of course, Hilton Head is known as a destination for golfers. There's about 36 golf courses on the island, and you pass a couple of them as you're driving up to the hotel.
This is kind of the entrance area where you drive up. This was packed with cars at check-in time. A bunch of us all showed up at the same time, of course, to check in. So there was a long wait to get to this entrance. There was valet parking available for a fee. I'm kind of cheap, so I just self-parked, but the self-parking was a good walk away from the front door, so I had to pull suitcases. But hey, I saved a few dollars. Here's the conference center entrance. Of course, in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic that was ongoing during our stay, conferences aren't really happening very much, so this conference center was not being used.
And here you see the lobby. It was really nice lobby, and everyone was wearing masks. All the employees, they asked all of the people staying there to wear a mask. They were doing the socially distancing when you check in. We found the staff here to be just really, really nice, very pleasant. Checking in was a really easy experience. Here you see there's lots of places to sit, so if you wanted to sit in the lobby, there was room to spread out, and they had hand sanitizer stations located around the property. Also inside the lobby, they have ingredients. This is a small bakery and coffee shop. They were the only place that was open for breakfast that's on property. So we had breakfast there. They have Starbucks coffee, so you can get your favorite lattes. They have some grab-and-go stuff, and they had breakfast sandwiches, as well as various different types of bakery items. So I know Jack got a breakfast sandwich. I think I got a chocolate croissant. It was really good. We enjoyed it, and then you could take it and eat it in the lobby or outside somewhere. And then at lunchtime they switch over and they have lunch sandwiches available. Now they do close a little early. They close at 3, so I guess if you're doing a late lunch, just be sure to get there before 3. But this was a great place to just grab a bite and grab some coffee.
Also in the lobby we have the resort store. It has a lot of Hilton Head souvenirs. Also anything you may need on your trip, such as sunglasses, sunscreen, toiletry items. There's toys and books to help keep your children entertained during your stay at the resort. And there's also some grab-and-go snacks and drinks as well. The store was pretty pricey, but that is to be expected at a lot of resort hotels such as this one.
So now let's talk about some of the reasons that you would stay at this resort, and one of those is this area that's located behind the resort. This is a nice courtyard area. They have a koi pond and lake with a fountain here, lots of areas to sit in. They had some outdoor games. There was ping pong, cornhole, some other games, so you could play those with your family. Just a really nice area, lots of space to walk around, and then of course you have their pool. So there are 3 pools at this resort. The largest one is their main pool, and they're all heated, so the water temperature was great. There's the big main pool. There was a smaller pool that is called a quiet pool or splash pool. It's a little bit smaller. We often saw smaller kids in that one. And then they have a heated covered pool, which is under a roof. Now that pool, though it says heated, we did notice the water temperature was a little bit cooler because it's covered by the roof and not open to the sunshine. But it was actually really nice if you wanted to get out of the sun or if it started raining. And that particular pool was often less crowded. So 3 pools to choose from. The water temperature was great. It was really awesome.
They also have a hot tub that looks like it seats at least a couple dozen people. That was closed due to COVID. There's really no way to space people out in that hot tub. The water fountains were all closed down because of COVID. And they did have the deck chairs out for you to sit in, but they were all in groups of 2 or 3 or 4 chairs together. Then there would be at least 6 feet of distance between the next group of chairs. So they, even outside, even in the sunshine, they were trying to set things up where it would be safe, especially since this is an area where people aren't going to be wearing masks, obviously, while they're out swimming. Most people kind of did keep their distance from strangers in the pool, though.
And here you see Splash. This is their outdoor pool bar. It had both drinks and some food offerings, not as many as the restaurant, but we did have lunch here one day. I tried their hamburger, which was really good. I was actually surprised. It was really thick, really good beef. And then Jack had a barbecue sandwich. And I believe the drink I got was called a Fuzzy Monkey. It had rum and peach and I think banana. It was really good, really flavorful. I can't remember if Jack, I think he may have just had a soda this time, but it was really nice to just be able to sit outside in your swimsuit and eat. The wait staff was really attentive. They were still wearing their masks and everything, but of course you didn't have to if you were sitting there to eat.
So nearby was View 32. This is a restaurant kind of overlooking the pool area. We had dinner there a couple of nights during our stay. There are some restaurants nearby within driving distance, but we tried to stay on site as much as possible. I got a chicken sandwich here with fries.
The first night I had a sandwich. It was really good, but the next night I tried this. This was called a shrimp and crab cake. It was served over arugula and quinoa with a mustard aioli. It's just not what I expected. I was expecting a dish that was hot. When I hear crab cake, I think hot. This was more of a mold, I guess, of like a crab and shrimp salad that was served cold. So it was okay, not great. I mostly ate the arugula and the quinoa. Those were really good. The sauce was good. But yeah, just not the best meal there.
They also have a fine dining restaurant called the Carolina Room. It was closed due to COVID-19, so the only place for a hot meal in a sit-down environment, really, was this View 32 restaurant outdoors over by the pool area.
They also have a child care center where children can go play with toys and they have adults to supervise them. You can drop your kids off if you want a couple hours away, but this was also closed due to COVID-19.
So in addition to the outdoor area at the hotel, right beyond that is the main draw for this resort, and that is the beach. It is a public beach, but this is a private entrance to it, and pretty much everyone we saw in the area was wearing the Westin bracelets, so most everyone had come from the resort through the private entrance to this public beach. You do have to pay if you want to rent a beach chair or a beach umbrella. You can also rent kayaks, paddle boards. There are boat rentals if you want to sail. So there's a rental place on property right as you head out the private beach entrance, and those are all rented out by a third party. The Westin is actually not allowed by the local government to rent these items on the public beach, so it is a third party that has a contract with the city government to rent these items. They're kind of expensive. I believe Alice paid $8 for a beach chair for just half a day. I think the umbrellas ran about $15 to $20 a day. I just sat on some beach towels because, again, I'm cheap. So I saved us a few dollars. Also on site is the Heavenly Spa, a very nice spa area. That's not really our jam, so we didn't go check it out. But it's there if you'd like to use the spa facilities, as well as an exercise room. There's weightlifting equipment, as well as some cardio machines in an exercise room that overlooks pool area.
Another really interesting thing at this resort we actually found by accident. We were walking around on the second floor and we came across this historical exhibit that's all about Mitchellville. So the land that the resort is on was a part of Mitchellville back in the 1800s, and they have a pretty lengthy exhibit that's all about it, has lots to read, lots of amazing photographs. We probably spent a half an hour or so here, so it's something that we found really interesting. I kind of wish they would promote it a little more, but I'm glad we stumbled upon it.
So the story of Mitchellville is this. During the Civil War in late 1861, Hilton Head Island became the Union Army Southern headquarters for the Civil War when the inhabitants of the island fled to the mainland. So within a few days, slaves began to flee their captivity and head for the island as they heard that the Union soldiers had taken over the land. Within just about a month, there were more than 300 former slaves that had arrived on Hilton Head Island. A couple months after that, The now free men, women, and children who escaped slavery totaled more than 600 people, and by the end of the Civil War, their numbers totaled more than 3,000. During the war, Mitchellville was a town that was set aside on the island for these now free people to begin their own community. They were given lumber, and they built their own houses, they began their own businesses, they started their own churches. A law was passed that formerly enslaved children between the ages of 6 years old and 15 years old all had to go to school. Some missionaries from the north came down to Hilton Head Island to teach the school, and many of the men who had been freed ended up joining the Union Army and helping them achieve their eventual victory in the Civil War. From what we read, the community continued to exist into the 1920s, and then sometime in the 1980s, archaeological digs began to attempt to locate artifacts that were related to the town of Mitchellville, as it was feared that development on the island was going to cause these artifacts to be lost to history forever. Archaeological work still continues in the area to this day, and there are plans made to create a park to commemorate and celebrate the history of Mitchellville. And no hotel tour would be complete without a room tour. We stayed in a king bedroom with an ocean view. We'll talk about that view a bit more in a moment. Now, due to COVID-19 concerns, there would be no housekeeping service during your stay. They do come in and clean and sanitize the rooms between guests, but don't actually visit your room until you have checked out, though they will come deliver towels or toilet paper as needed. And you see they have a large flat panel television. There's a Mr. Coffee maker, as well as a refrigerator. There's no dresser. You really only have these two drawers under the TV. They weren't very deep. You are given free water plus an ice bucket and some disposable cups. There's a desk to sit at, as well as a couch. There is a closet with a luggage rack, hangers to hang up any clothing, an ironing board and an iron. And in the bathroom you have a supply of towels, Westin bathrobes, sinks, and a shower/bathtub with both a handheld shower head and a rainfall shower head up above.
Overall, I thought the room was great. It was enough space, the beds were comfortable, I really liked the room and the amenities. We did have one problem though. So when we first arrived, we went to the room and it wasn't quite the view that I was expecting. So Jack and I hardly ever pay for any certain view, whether it's pool view, theme park view, city view, whatever. We're not usually in the room long enough to worry about what's out the window. So we never pay for that, but this trip was an exception. This was a splurge. We had saved up. I decided I really wanted a balcony, a room that had a balcony where you could look out and see the ocean. So that was my goal. And when I booked on the website, I booked Ocean View. Well, as we've learned now, apparently ocean view is very different than ocean front in the hotel industry. So while we did have a small sliver of a view of the ocean, it was kind of looking between two buildings, just wasn't really what I was expecting. So I called and asked just to see if there was any chance that they could move me to a room that had a better ocean view. And the staff were so polite, so kind. You know, I admit it, it's totally my mistake. I didn't know there's a difference between ocean view and ocean front. I was just hoping to maybe have a better view, and they were really, really sweet. They were booked up solid the first night, but for the second night, they said they actually could move us. So for the second night, we did get a room that was also labeled ocean view, but it was more in the middle of the resort. It looked out over the courtyard, the pools, and had a totally unobstructed view of the ocean. So just know that when you're booking rooms, I think on the website, all of the oceanfront rooms were probably already booked because I didn't even see that as an option. Therefore, I didn't know there was a difference in terminology. But again, the staff were just super sweet, super polite, and got us in a much better room with a better view.
From what we read after the fact in online reviews, this is actually a fairly common tactic at this and other beachside hotels. If you can see even just a sliver of the ocean from the windows in your room, it's considered an ocean view room. But if you want full unobstructed view, you have to get ocean front rooms. There are enough complaints about this online that maybe resorts should realize this tactic probably doesn't constitute great customer service. But we still had a great time at this resort. The rooms were good, the pool area and beach access were great. The food was pretty good, but nothing to get excited about. Though, again, we didn't get to try the signature dining location because it was closed due to COVID-19. Including a daily resort fee of $28 and taxes, our room was a bit over $250 a night in July, the peak season at the resort. An actual oceanfront room would have been about $100 more. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you enjoyed it, please click the thumbs up to like the video, and click on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos each week. Thank you so much for watching us, and we'll see you the next time we're traveling through.